Totes Recall.
Welcome to Totes Recall, the podcast where we talk about a movie we can't remember very well, and then we pause our recording, we go and eat 2 pizzas, 2 salads, thank you patrons, and we come back in the second half of the show. Now we've watched the movie while we're eating those pizzas and salads, and we talk about it again from a fresh-brained state. My name is Dan.
This is Molly.
I'm also Dan.
And I'm Beth.
And our movie, as is tradition in this month of love, Love Month, the most romantic genre of movies there are, Disney animated classics.
That's right.
And we're, again, 2 years in a row, traveling back in time, getting in the old love time machine. And our
tunnel
movie,
of love and time.
Yes, our movie is, of course, Sleeping Beauty, or as my father always called it, Beeping Slooty.
Why?
Really?
Consistent
Is that real?
misnaming from
Just for yucks?
old man Jaquette. Yep.
All right.
Just a classic dad
Were you?
move.
Did he do that to because he got a good reaction out of you, or you'd be like, no, that's not what it's called, or was it because you got a positive reaction?
Probably no reaction, which is
That's classic dad.
the gold standard.
Yes.
Just keep going, falls
Absolutely.
flat every time. Keep it up.
My father just texted a joke to all. I mean, when I say joke, again, I've already given it too much credit. We were having a conversation, he and his 3 children, over text, a group text, and he made some comment that was, all it was him telling us that he saw the original Star Wars in some town in Virginia, but the way he phrased it was so absurd and trying to also make it a joke that my sister literally just texted back, huh? Which is pretty standard with my dad. Like I have said before, he is the alt comic of dad humor. Anyway, this is about the movie Sleeping Beauty, Disney classic.
Disney classic came out
Quite
a bit ago. Let's make some hot bets.
Oh, I'm ready. My bet in hand is so hot right now.
After Snow White, 18.
50. Yeah. No, 19.
Oh, wow.
1956.
Ooh, baby.
That's hot.
When did Snow White come out? Do we
Don't
remember?
Wasn't that 1940 something?
40s?
Wow. I'm going to say
it was early.
52.
Great.
47.
Ooh.
Right.
I'll go 1950.
Nice.
Round of
These are all hot bets.
These are the
Yeah.
hot spread, hot
Is that-
bets.
Hot spread, hot bets. Sweating.
I'll be interested
Sweating over
to
here.
find out, is this the second or the fourth?
I have no idea. It'd be weird if it was the second movie, because then it would just be I guess that's sort of studio logic, though, of just this movie about a broad that falls asleep was a hit. So let's do another one.
Let's make her more asleep.
Yeah,
That's the part
true.
everybody was responding to, the sleeping part.
I mean, I think we...
Don't forget she was beautiful. I think we got
Okay.
her right.
Okay, so what we need to amp up for the next one, Walt, we need to amp up the sleepy lady, but also make sure that lady is hot.
Wait. Is this like a crossover with Sleepy? With that Sleepy Bear one?
Yeah, everybody was
what
real
if-
horny for that sleepy dwarf, but what if she was a lady and she was beautiful?
I would go back in time and give Walt Disney a giant hug if we were to watch the movie and it turned out that it was straight up a spin-off just about the Sleepy Dwarf.
If he was a hot lady.
No, just the Sleepy Dwarf.
Oh, I see.
It was called Sleeping Beauty. They changed the character design 0%. It was just a movie following that dwarf.
Yeah.
That'd be
I'd
amazing.
watch that.
Great.
But it's
Oh,
not
well.
that, I'm sure.
It's not that.
No.
I don't remember it being that.
She's got to be a princess, right?
Who knows? We thought
Yes.
Snow White was a princess and then didn't think it was, and then she was or she wasn't.
Is this the one with the round little fairies that are each different colors?
Excuse me?
Yes.
Okay,
What?
that's Cinderella.
No. No.
Well, maybe they both have round fairies, but definitely Cinderella does.
There's like a pink one.
Where in Cinderella is there round fairies?
Their fairy godmother.
Yeah, she's
Her fairy
Guess so, but
godmother's
she's
around.
she's
She's
like
No,
like
no,
a
no.
human-sized
Rotund.
human.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
talking about little
She's
ones.
yeah,
there's a round mouse
What?
in Cinderella.
yeah. Oh,
know
Gus,
that-
Gus.
Yeah, Gus. We'll watch it.
To quite
maybe.
bet, there's 3 solid colored
Yes. Green,
round
red,
fairies.
blue.
Wow.
And they are there. That's my bet.
Let me tell you a secret.
Pink?
Let me
No.
confess something to
think
you
there's
all
a
here on
pink
totesrecall.com. I don't know if I've ever seen this movie.
I thought I had, but I'm starting to wonder.
Yeah, I've seen enough of it that I can remember enough of it that I think I have seen it, but I have no idea.
Here's what I
can
know about
definitely
it.
Picture her sleeping in the woods, and there's a prince.
See, I can't. That's why I don't think I've seen it. I know she's like more of a traditional princess in her design than Snow White was. She's got like long blonde hair. And I know there's some
blonde.
sort of dude, the old long blonde, and
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure there's an evil witch, right?
Yep.
But like, what's their whole deal? I
I
don't know.
think-
The witch?
Yeah,
I think she's
Maleficent.
another jealous witch. Isn't it? Is Sleeping Beauty?
Yeah.
Is she mad Sleeping Beauty's hot too?
is it
No,
literally the
She
same
was.
story?
I think she's mad that she wasn't invited to her birthday party.
Whose birthday?
Wow.
Okay,
like her
the queen and the king and the queen
Yeah.
have a baby
Okay,
Yep.
who is Sleeping Beauty. Aurora is her name, I believe.
but she's not
yeah.
asleep yet.
She's not asleep yet.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
think.
babies, am I right?
I think the like
Yeah,
inciting incident is that Maleficent, this like witch, or maybe she's a queen, but she definitely has magic powers
Sure.
because she turns into a dragon at one point. Spoiler alert.
Nice.
Wow.
Awesome.
I think she is not invited to the birthday party or like the christening or something like that. And she's pissed off. She shows up at the party and she's like, I'm cursing your child.
Oh yeah.
Classic
it's like-
move.
On her like
Is it a
16th
ball?
16th.
Probably.
16th birthday ball?
Yeah, she's
Well,
I always
gonna.
bet it's a ball or a gala.
My super sweet 16.
At
Yeah.
the yeah. So when I think it's like when she turns 16, she's gonna come back and like prick her finger or something, and then
Yeah.
she
I'm just gonna.
is gonna
get
go
her.
to sleep forever.
But does she
yes.
announce all that?
Yep.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
she does it at the party.
She shows up in a
Hmm.
big puff of like green black smoke, and
Okay.
it's like, I got FOMO real bad, and I'm gonna take it out on everybody here, especially this baby.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, if you should
Wow,
blame anyone.
baby.
How dare this infant not invite me to her party?
Yeah. And so that's when now I'm even more convinced of these 3 little plump fairies, which I feel like I'm not
Yes.
being very body positive about these fairies, and I'm struggling to
Well,
figure that out.
They're characters that maybe one is plump and like the other one is not, or the other 2 are not, or something. Do you know what I mean? How there's like
fairies?
sometimes there's
Does
like
that
a
sound
tall.
worse?
No,
I
they're
don't
not.
see-
They're all small, but I'm thinking maybe one is like kind of like the ghost in Casper. How like one is like
sure.
stretchy and long, and one
Yeah.
is like short and squat.
Oh, I thought they all had
But
similar body types.
we'll find out.
We'll find out.
Let's
I've
do
They are in
let's
Cinderella.
Hot,
I
let's
have
put some hot
talked-
bets down.
way too long about the bodies of these
Let's-
fairy godmothers.
Let's put 2 hot hands down between you and Beth, where you say all of them have the same body type,
Yeah,
and Beth says the Casper spread.
Casper spread.
I'm gonna say
Yeah.
3 plumps and Beth's Casper spread. Great.
Yeah.
Yep.
Are you actually writing that down?
No,
Come
Come on,
on.
Dan.
I'm trying to give you specific words so that when you can't read your handwriting in the second half, we get a fun conversation.
I got it. I got it now. And so that's
Okay.
when the fairies are like, "We got this. We'll hide the baby in the woods." And
Yeah.
so no one will know she's a princess.
Oh.
This is Snow White again, right? No one will know she's a princess. So this ultimate magic queen who can shapeshift into a dragon and teleport at will never find her because we're in a cottage in the
Of
woods.
course. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's too normcore for her. She doesn't,
yeah.
or I guess cottagecore is its own thing.
Yeah. But then she like, I don't know, she gets revealed somehow.
Wait, so
I
she's taken away
She's just
like
too
right
beautiful
away?
to hide.
She's what?
Like she gets taken away like as a baby?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think the fairies raise her in the woods.
Oh, okay. So she doesn't even know she's like royalty.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Do her parents know that she's in the woods, or do they think she's dead? Or her parents dead? I guess it's a Disney
No,
movie.
I think they're like, yes, take our baby to protect her.
Boy, okay.
Yeah.
Drama,
How
drama.
awful.
But then they make her a tippy birthday cake. It's
Oh,
all wobbly.
Parents or the fairies?
The fairies before her birthday.
Okay. Uh-huh.
And I think for some reason she goes out into the woods and Prince Philip,
That
I
sounds
think
right.
is the prince in this movie,
Sounds right.
sees her and falls in love with her.
Classic.
Is this another? Do you think this is another Dan's bet? This is another situation like Snow White, where she's just doing her thing in the woods, being a woods lady, and the prince is just like, "Ooh, let me insert myself into your day because you're so beautiful."
Yeah. He's
Yeah,
just
I
riding
think
around
that's
looking
100%
for
what
women
happened.
alone in the woods,
Yes,
as all
Yes,
princes
exactly.
do.
As all princes do.
Beth's
Yeah.
bet, I think he has a funny horse.
Ooh, I like that.
Oh, I
Oh,
like
is
that. I
this
love
the
a fun
one with
horse.
the horse with the good mane? Horse with
What?
the good mane?
Okay, don't they all have
Horse with
the
good mane?
Right?
Yep.
are right.
Yes, I believe so. It's a white horse,
Yeah.
Okay.
and I can't remember the horse's name. Horse Philip.
Does just horse Philip? They're both named Philip.
My horse's name is also Philip.
You shall be my horse because my name is also Philip.
Yeah.
Does she just have fairies of mysterious body types, or does she also have charming animal friends?
I think animal friends. They're not
Okay.
going to make Snow White with all those goddamn great animal friends and then give it up
So
for the
good.
next one.
Do you think they're as
That's a
industrious
bet.
as the Snow White animals, though? Where they're like making pies and fucking
I don't know. They
cleaning up
definitely
the
are
house.
in Cinderella. They're like sewing stuff.
Yeah.
But this
Yeah.
is beeping slutty.
I think that there are enchanted items in her house,
Ooh.
more like
Whoa.
Beauty and Beauty and the Beast. Like I feel like
Now,
at some
that-
point there's going to be a teapot that sings or something,
Yes.
Wow.
right?
Love
I don't know if
that.
it sings, but it like dances around for sure.
Awesome.
So, Beth, I'm assuming that the Disney like 50th anniversary special VHS or DVD came out at a critical time in your youth.
No,
Is that right?
no.
You
Here's the
haven't
thing about
seen
this
this
movie:
multiple
I did
times?
not see this when I was a kid
Wait, what?
because I did not.
Could
I
you-
didn't have it on VHS, but I think my friend did, and so I feel like maybe I saw it at her house one time, and then I saw it like maybe as an adult at some point. But I don't really remember.
Fascinating.
I can't place where or when I saw it.
So it's not like in the Beth Youth vault.
No, it was not.
Okay, gotcha.
Is this
Yeah.
a dud?
Fascinating.
Is that why we don't remember it as much? Is this one a total dud?
I don't think so. I remember being, she pricks her finger on, like the sharp part of a spinning wheel.
Oh, a spinning wheel.
Wait,
that seems
wait.
like something.
Wait a minute. Okay.
That's the curse.
But is it like that's
The
the
prick
curse
of
the whole
sleep.
time? Or like she gets to a certain age and then it can be the curse?
I think she has to get to a certain age. I think she's protected until she's like 16.
And then she's a woman.
And then if she pricks her finger, this happens.
Yes.
So there's not like a montage of like the fairies as she gets older, like constantly keeping her away from pointy
There
things.
should be, but I don't think so.
Okay. That's a shame.
But I remember the spinning wheel looking very sharp and scaring me as a child. In part because I didn't
Yeah, I was going to ask
understand.
Dan. Can you tell, like, what is your memory of watching this movie?
Those fairies who I think are fun.
No, not the content of the
Oh.
movie, but like, did you watch it multiple times?
I've
Was
probably
someone in
seen
your
it a
house in love
few
with it? Like-
times. I think
I mean, if your
remember.
dad said beeping Slooty more than once.
There's also the ride at Disneyland. We were regular attendees of Disneyland. No big deal.
Oh, because it was like right in
Okay.
your backyard.
Yeah, I took the train.
Wow, must be nice.
Annually. No big deal.
Wow.
And we must have gone on the ride, or did she have the castle? No. That's Cinderella. Whose castle? Someone's got a castle.
That might be her castle in California. I think Cinderella's is in Orlando.
There are different castles in the different.
Yeah, each one has a different
parks?
castle. Yeah.
Huh.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't remember which one is which.
But which
so
is the one? But there's
sorry.
one that's like the straight up logo for the production company.
That's, I believe,
Yeah.
the Cinderella castle.
Oh boy. Okay.
Really?
I think. I don't know, actually. Sorry.
Disney, tweet at us hashtag land castle, and then tell us which castle it is.
A question only
Cinderella
Disney
doesn't.
can answer.
She's a poor
Yeah.
until
What?
the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then
And she's a queen.
but is that castle like
No, she's a
distinct
princess.
enough in Cinderella?
I guess Sleeping Beauty
Well-
vacates her castle right away.
I feel like a certain website might know the answer to this
Yeah,
in
we'll
the
find
second
out.
half.
Whose castle?
We'll find out what that website is and what it knows.
Yeah. But yeah, I remember so she gets pricked, and then it's like it's Vine Central on the prick site, and all these vines and brambles come up to protect her
What?
somehow
Out of
And-
what?
Out of the spinning wheel?
around,
Oh.
and so like no one can get to her anymore because there's all these brambles, except the prince. I feel like maybe she's asleep a long time. I don't know. Anyway,
Like 50 years or something?
but the prince comes and he is a badass with a sword and hacks his way in there. I remember thinking that was cool. You could just like machete
Okay.
his way through the brambles.
Sure.
And he probably, because it's a Disney movie, he probably kisses her without her permission while she's asleep
Uh-huh.
and wakes her up.
When does the dragon happen then?
And then Maleficent
Probably when
is
they're
like,
trying to leave.
I'm going to be a dragon now.
Okay.
And he's got a fighter. I remember he's got a shield. This is a scene I remember. The prince got a shield, and
Yeah.
Maleficent breathes fire, and he blocks it with his shield, and I thought that was badass.
That's cool.
Hmm.
It's got a high AC on that shield.
Yeah.
Yeah.
hmm
And then I think he kills her, the dragon.
Sure.
Maleficent,
With a sword.
with a sword.
Does Maleficent have any delightful hench creatures?
Great
Uh,
cue.
Crow?
Okay.
I think she has a crow, right?
I mean, there was the crow that
Just
other
yeah,
witch
Snow White has a
laughed
crow.
at.
Mm.
That was scared
Oh, maybe
of
there's
her.
another good moment of a crow being afraid
Nice.
from cackling.
Is
I
this
don't
really?
remember.
Is this just going to be the same movie beats?
it
Like,
feels like the same movie.
interesting.
Wait, okay. I think Cinderella was between Snow White and Sleeping Beauty. Does that seem right?
Not
So
to
maybe
me.
Cinderella bombed, and the studio was like, "No, no, no! Get back to the sleeping, cute women."
No one wants to see an awake woman. Get her, put her to sleep, let her kiss her.
What is this? Why is she? Why is this dude kissing her when she's just perfectly awake in her own house? That's not what these movies are about.
I think this is the next one, but
I think. Wait, yeah, no. Now that I think about it, I feel like Cinderella's later
I'm
because there's
yeah,
like
I'm only-
a couple songs that are like feel very kind of like 50s esque, right? In Cinderella.
Mm.
yeah. Good. And this one, the art doesn't feel cartoony yet, like Cinderella does.
Okay.
I don't think. Like the people are a little
Hot
more
bets.
realistic.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
You know, it's still obviously animated. No one's going to be fooled.
Wow. I'll be honest. I thought we would have maybe 3 minutes of conversation about the plot because I couldn't remember anything. But I really want to thank Beth and Dan for carrying us. They'll remember a lot.
You're welcome.
Like, I think you might remember the whole thing.
It might honestly.
I might be 1,000% incorrect too.
Yeah, but
Well-
she's definitely sleeping. We know
There's
that.
definitely sleeping,
Okay,
and she's
there's
definitely
sleeping.
a beauty.
There's a beauty.
100% Utah and sleeping beauties.
Yep.
There's definitely a dragon.
Do you think you
right?
can name any of the plump fairies
Ooh.
or
have names?
stretchy fairies? Yeah, of course they have names.
Uh,
Which-
Esmeralda.
and they have names, and I believe they talk to each other
Oh.
without about not a man.
Yeah,
Glip
they're
glorp.
complaining about a cake or something. Like, hey, bake that cake better.
Yeah.
Because there's one that's like
Fufo.
the goofball one that's fallen down. There's the one that's the strict one who knows the
Jumble crank.
rules. And the third one.
I think Merryweather is one.
Brigitte.
Oh,
Ooh,
that
that's
sounds
cute.
right. That sounds right. Merryweather. Bebop.
Rocksteady.
That's Ninja Turtle, yeah.
Ooh, Dan's bet.
Periwinkle.
So
Okay, that's
Merriweather,
good.
Periwinkle, and Bebop. Great. I have a bet that I'd like to put down with my hot hand.
Great.
I would like to bet that the fairies at some point have a slightly what's the word I'm looking for? Not aggressive, but like a little bit of tension between the fairies and this cool horse.
Oh.
Right?
yeah.
Where like the fairies are like flying around the horse face and the horse is like, whoa, get out of here, or like tries to bite one.
Yeah.
He does like
something.
a
Fairies
Yeah.
can size change.
What?
They, like, can
Whoa.
be human size, or they can shrink down to be like tiny sprite size.
Whoa.
Because when they're like raising Aurora,
Mm-hmm.
they're like normal, ant size or whatever.
Like
Ant
wait.
like a person, like a
Oh.
female relative. I realize
I was
this
gonna
is
say.
terrible, terrible term to use. Aunt.
Aunt size.
Aunt-sized fairies.
Great.
Fascinating.
Do we remember any songs that happened in this movie?
La la la. I'm Sleeping Beauty.
Yeah.
I don't think there are songs.
There
no,
has
there
to be at
have
least
to be
one,
songs.
right?
So she's got to have an I Wish
There's,
song or something.
Like a birthday thing when they're making the
Happy
cake.
birthday to you.
Yeah, before the sisters got it, the song.
La la la. I'm an evil witch and I hate everybody.
It's me, Maleficent.
You're
Gonna
gonna
you
get
with my
cursed so bad.
curse.
Ooh, I'm gonna come to your party even though I'm not invited. Look at my cool horns or hat or hair. It's unclear. But then I'm not even sure what they decided for the movies starring Angelina Jolie, what they are.
Yeah.
I think
Great.
it's like a headpiece.
Whoa.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
She's got crazy cheekbones in that movie.
She does.
cool.
Oh, la la la. Fairy's gonna do the good work to save this lady.
We're
And
protecting
then-
a baby. Look
Yeah.
at how we're doing magic around
We're
her.
so good at it. And then
Oh!
la la la, I'm a prince and I'm looking for love in all the wrong places. The
I have
woods.
I have a late bet.
Okay.
I think that Maleficent is like she's going to be cursed by poking
Reverse
this like
curse?
thing, and then she'll go to sleep forever, right?
Yeah.
And then
Right.
I think the fairies are like, we can protect her with our magic until she's 16, and that's what
Oh.
protects her.
Oh.
But maybe I have some memory that they make it so instead of dying immediately when she pricks her fingers, they make it that she falls asleep.
Oh,
they can kind of
that
mitigate.
sounds right.
Yeah.
Mitigate the curse. They
Give her
can't
a
get rid
magic
of
buff.
That sounds good.
Huh.
Yeah. That
Huh.
makes sense.
Huh. So
Well-
we're to believe that Maleficent said, if this baby ever pricks her finger, she's going to die. And then the fairies are like, okay, we're going to hide her in the woods. And then also, we can't guarantee she won't prick her finger, but we can definitely guarantee that she won't die. Like, that's the best they can do because Maleficent is so cool.
I guess so.
Okay. I don't know. I'm honestly, literally all I remember about this movie is that there is a woman and she sleeps. So, and I'm told by pop culture that Maleficent is in it,
Got it.
but I'm mostly
Yeah.
thinking of those cheekbones. So
Yeah.
clearly I don't have a good reference for this movie.
Is the movie Maleficent all about how she's like, why she wasn't invited to the party?
Yeah. No, I saw the first one and it's like, it's one of those things where they're just like, ooh, actually she's it's like maybe she wasn't all that
Misunderstood?
bad. Yeah, she was just misunderstood.
Oh, it's like a wicked.
And then man is the true monster or something. But then I think she sort of like, it sort of blackens her heart and she becomes the evil witch that you expect. Maybe, I don't remember, because now I feel like maybe she's like cool with most people, but it's just like the people in power are jerks. I don't remember. But then there was a second one, which I assume is the same thing, but more so, right? Because the conceit of these movies is like, eventually she's totally going to be this crazy lady who kills children with her magic or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. Tweet at us, people who've watched the Maleficent movies and paid more attention than I did. Because I was mostly just like, her cheekbones look weird. Why does this movie exist?
What happened?
Yeah. Tweet at us,
What
Maleficent,
happened?
good? And I don't mean good like the movie is good or bad. I mean like the character, is she presented as good?
Yeah.
That'll be clear.
That's the hashtag, by the way. That whole thing was the hashtag.
Yep.
You'll have to send a separate tweet to let us know.
Or
what
maybe
your
just keep your
is.
answer to
Thread.
like yes or no.
Just tweet yes or no at us.
Y-N.
No, I already said the hashtag. You weren't paying attention.
Oh,
Jesus.
well, Molly, how should we rate this movie?
Hashtag Maleficent FOMO.
Hashtag Maleficent FOMO.
Yeah.
Is this, does Maleficent... Okay. Does Maleficent have her own Twitter account? And is she saying, like, wasn't invited to the big party, hashtag Maleficent FOMO?
Yeah. Or is this like a TikTok challenge?
Well, like, how would that TikTok challenge work?
Oh, you
Like,
post.
you don't invite somebody and then you...
So you
Yeah.
you find a party that you weren't invited to, and
Okay.
you show up and just like absolutely go nuts. Like you bust in there and like threaten to kill a baby, or just like go,
Or
go,
like ruin the birthday haver in
way
some way that's
beyond
like
what you should
long
do.
term, right?
Yeah.
Like you create an existential crisis for the birthday haver that will the ramifications will echo across years.
Yeah.
But then you record it and put like a cool pop song under it, right?
Oh my gosh, yikes, don't do that.
Like didn't get invited to the princess's birthday, and then you're playing like something from Taylor's version or whatever
Yeah.
about how
Find
sad
out,
you
like,
are.
Two
I
of
don't know.
your couple's friends are having dinner
Yeah.
on like a Thursday or
Alright.
something.
Yeah.
And you just break into their
burst
house
in
and like threaten
through
to kill their
by
dog
turning into
in
a
10 years.
yeah. Yeah.
In 10
you
years.
become like a misty
Dressed as a
cloud.
dragon.
Yes.
But it's on TikTok, so it's fun.
So is that what it is, Molly?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. You
And
guessed
you can
it.
do it. You can ruin 1 or 5 birthdays.
Well, yeah, you can ruin up to 5. More than that, people catch on.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
you get
They
arrested.
start inviting security.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But up
Okay.
until then, you can just make baseless claims and
Yes.
terrible threats.
If there's anything we've learned, it's that 6 times the charm for getting in trouble.
Right.
Mhm.
That's what I've learned based on my life experience.
Mhm.
And I'm sure that applies to everyone.
6
Yes.
times you're out.
Yeah.
That's how it's in baseball.
Yep.
Yep. Baseball rules.
Baseball rules. All right, Dan, you are first, as we all know.
Hello, I'm first, but not the worst, because none of us are.
Oh.
Oh.
5 Moon Friends.
Happy Valentine's.
I, as I've said, only remember that there is a woman that sleeps, and I'm now worried that this is a dud because it's just like the same movie again, except without dwarves. So I'm gonna give it a cautious 3 because it's still a classic. Like I'm sure the animation will be beautiful because they're like it's probably new enough where they're not cost cutting too much yet. And they're still trying to like impress people that like movies can be cartoons, right?
Yep.
So I'm saying the Cowardly 3. So I'm boldly ruining 2 birthdays, but then the second one went real bad. So I'm pretty timid in my last TikTok. 3.
Great.
I curse you with cold pizza.
3. What was it
Gotta
again?
go.
I should actually say the unit of measurement.
It's hashtag Maleficent FOMO.
FOMO. Got it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
3 of them.
We all know who's next.
Yep, it's me, Beth
It's
Gibbs. I go second. I I think I'm going to also I'm going to go with 3 because I don't really have, like childhood nostalgia for this movie, but I am excited to see if there are any fun characters or animal friends that stand out to me this time, because I will be watching it with a different eye than I have watched it before. So I want room to give more points for animal friends. So 3.
Great. I'm next. I'm third. I am Dan. I'm going to stay the course and also give it a cowardly 3. I remember some fun parts, but I just think it's like they haven't really found their footing on how to churn out these movies. And so it's a lot of the same woman asleep, but without the charm of the little side characters. Yeah, that's, I don't know, 3. I don't know.
Great.
Wow.
Yeah.
Bold.
Not so much.
Hello, I'm Molly. I'm 4th. You know what? I'm going to be bold and give it 4. #Maleficent FOMOs.
Mm-hmm.
Based on the idea that, 1, I will enjoy watching it, and every other scene say, oh, I have seen it, or, oh, wait, no, I have definitely not seen this. That will be joyful. But I feel like the few things that I do remember, I think it will be beautiful. I think it'll be beautifully animated. I think there'll be some fun characters. I am fully prepared for the patriarchy in this. I don't think I'll be able to claim any sort of surprise there. I do think it'll pass Bechdel Wallace. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe we'll see a very cool movie. I'm gonna be optimistic. All right, 4.
Great.
I love it.
Said with
Nice.
authority. I'm ruining at least 4 parties, and I'm so sorry. So sorry in
They
advance.
should have invited you. That was rude.
Or you should have. Yeah, no, it's their fault. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, we canceled because of COVID. Well, should have thought of that before.
Yeah.
Uh,
Guess your house is going to fall into a sinkhole in 4 years.
Yeah. Ooh, we'll talk about it later. How we're going to curse these birthdays.
Yeah, can't wait.
And with that, we're going to press pause, go watch Sleeping Beauty, and we'll be right back.
Hey, everybody. It's the middle of the show, and I'm also Dan here to talk to you about a little something we like to call a Totes Recall Challenge, in which we challenge you, the listeners, the Totes heads, the fans, to do something related to the podcast. In this case, that challenge, because it is the month of love, is tell a friend why you love the podcast Totes Recall.
Hey, that's us.
Aww.
Because we
That's so
assume you
sweet of
do.
you to think of us.
Yeah, it is really sweet of you to think of us without any prompting. Yeah, just, we're always looking for fresh faces with headphones on, or just listening to us in whatever way people do. And we challenge you to just shout it out to a friend of yours. Maybe put one of those candy hearts in there that says, like,
You have some left over.
Totes heads, and they'll be like, "What's this?" And be like, "Oh, this is a novelty candy that I had custom made to show my love for the podcast that I like so much." And they'll be like,
Just make a whole batch of Cool-It Teens.
"Oh, that's actually good.
Candies.
Should we do that? Patent pending, trademark. Check the merch store. Don't do it. We won't have time." Beth, we
I
won't
bet
have
that
time.
is a thing that you can do.
Oh, it absolutely is a thing you can
Dan,
do.
watch my eyes go back to be like, can I do this?
Not in time, because
not
this
in
is
time.
coming out after Valentine's Day.
Good point.
Next year.
Next year.
Anyway, folks, if you do challenge your friends, we encourage you to tell us in some form, or have them tell us. That'd be fun if they're like, "Hey, my friend gave me this weird Valentine that was mostly about a podcast and not about our relationship." I would love to get that message. So, challenge not
Submitted?
accepted. Submitted. I've submitted the challenge. Please
Presented?
fill out forms 3B through Delta T and give it to your podcast representative so that we know you've accepted the challenge. And back to the show.
And we're back. We just watched 1 hour and 19 minutes of some fairly liberated magical creatures
Yeah.
and adorable woodland creatures
Yes.
Agree.
and a prince.
And what?
Yeah. A prince.
Yeah, I mean, he's there.
He's there.
He's there.
He does more than some of our princes.
Sure. I mean, we'll
That's
talk
for
about it.
sure.
We'll get into it. We'll get into the scale of
A Prince scale.
Prince scale. Yeah.
Yeah. But before we start
course.
rating men,
Yes.
we
WeRateMen.com.
We rate men.
Totes Recall.
Go to there. Go there.
That
Find
probably
men.
exists, right?
Oh, for sure.
Probably.
We have a segment that has
Have I
also
heard of
been
it?
rated.
Oh.
Oh.
How so?
Highly rated. It received a score of on the scale.
Sorry, what was the score?
Wow.
What was the score
That's
again?
Yep.
impressive.
Can we hit the score one more time?
Yep. Sorry, I don't know if I cut. It's it scored, which is of course the score that there
Yes.
is, and that segment, of course, is 60-second summary
Oh,
in which one
right.
of us summarizes the movie in 60 seconds. As is tradition, will volunteer to go first. I believe I just did it first. Go first, like we
Yep.
take turns. We'll do it. But I just did it. I know that I did. So I can do it again. But
No, that's ridiculous.
No, that's okay.
greedy.
Get over yourself.
I think
I'll do it.
Molly will do it.
Yes. I love it.
Yes.
Molly, are you ready?
Great. I am.
And go.
We open on a storybook, very similar to other movies we've seen. And in this story, a beautiful baby named Aurora is born, and the king and queen fail to invite Maleficent. And Maleficent shows up just as a third fairy is about to bestow a gift because she's already been given beauty and a beautiful singing voice, also very trendy in the Disney movies. Anyway, Maleficent interrupts, explains she has FOMO, gets really mad, and puts a curse.
30 seconds.
And then the Merryweather, the third fairy, can only make it into a sleeping thing instead of a dead thing. And then the three of the fairies decide to go raise Aurora in the woods, which they do, and they keep her protected until her 16th birthday, but not until it's over, which was when the curse would have been over.
10 seconds.
And meanwhile, she's met the prince in the glen. She and the prince have met once upon a
floundering.
dream and in real life, and then they get married in the
Time.
end.
And then
Wow.
third in the end. Oh no.
That's
Wow.
actually not true. They
Wow.
dance off into the clouds in the end.
They die. We'll talk about it.
I'm pretty sure they're dead.
Die. No.
Yep, they're in heaven. They're
There's
dancing in
so
the
many
clouds.
details I wanted to include. We open on really does mess you up.
It's a trap.
It really
is a
does.
trap.
It's a trap.
Yep.
I thought for this one it
a real
actually
act
would
bar.
work because it's
I
like,
thought it would too.
it's really setting up the story, but nope.
No, it really doesn't. So the things that I left out
Uh-huh.
that I think are the most important is most of the movie.
Well,
There's
you
a
already
dragon
summarized
fight,
it.
There's
so
brambles. Prince Philip
There's-
gets captured.
there's birds, lots of birds.
There's a lot of birds.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I guess one important detail is and by we I mean Molly, neglected to mention that the fairies hide their magic away for 16 years
Yes.
to
Yeah.
try to help hide her from Maleficent, which is part of the
Yes.
reason that they fuck it up at the last minute is they get a little greedy,
Yeah.
or really
They
they
gotta be so happy to get their magic back.
I know,
to
but,
be able to use it.
the way that scene is played out, it is implied that these women are useless and incapable of doing anything.
Yeah.
So how did they manage to keep Aurora alive for 16 years.
Yeah. So they
Aurora
can't.
was not wearing shoes.
That's a good point.
So we can just bring that up right away.
She has clothes, and presumably that's not her only pair of clothes. She's gone through 16 years of clothes. We are led to
which
believe.
in that time is probably like 4 outfits.
Sure. Still,
Right?
where did those come from?
I don't know.
We're led to believe that these 3 fairies have raised her without magic for 16 years, and yet on the 16th birthday, they are completely incapable of baking a cake, which is, can be hard, or sewing anything. Like they've never done either of those things ever, or anything even close to those.
Well,
Yeah.
I have a theory.
Okay.
Because, so the names of the fairies,
Yes.
Merryweather is one of them.
Yeah.
Yes. Good job, whoever.
Beth.
Thank you.
That was Beth.
It was me. And then the other 2 are named Flora and Fauna,
LOL.
which should have remembered that. It's pretty easy and straightforward. So Flora and Fauna are the ones who are making the dress and cooking and baking the cake.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a theory that that's not their regular jobs that they do around the house.
Yeah.
That I think Merryweather does everything. At one
She's
point,
the most competent.
I think Dan said that she was the intern.
Yeah. It
I
seemed
feel
that
like
way.
they make her do all those tasks.
I mean, she's definitely the youngest.
Yeah.
Just because of the way her character design is. Like because the other 2, they're going gray.
Right.
And they
Yeah.
just have more of a like matronly way of carrying themselves, whereas Merryweather is like has brighter eyes and darker hair, and she generally.
Would you say that she's shorter and maybe a little bit plumper than the other 2?
I would say that Merryweather is the stoutest of the 3, which would suggest that the others are not as stout.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Let's get into
I would say there's definitely variety.
body talk. Fairy body talk with Totes Recall.
Oh, I thought it was going to be like body talk.
Oh, that would've been better.
Body talk.
That would have been way better. This is why you're the producer.
Yep.
Robin.
Okay, take it
soundtrack.
again, Dan.
Yep. Wait, which one?
Also.
Dancing
Body
by
talk.
myself.
Oh, Molly did it already. It's fine.
Okay.
I'm just going to quit
And
the podcast.
That's the pre-recorded intro to Body Talk.
It got really tense in the studio. That's why it ends with me saying I'm just going to quit the podcast.
Quick review. I bet that all 3 fairies would have similar plump bodies. And Beth bet that it would be a standard Casper
Yes.
distribution. Now,
A Casper spread, please.
Casper spread. I thought I understood the Casper spread, but maybe I didn't. Casper spread is tall, thin one, short, fat one,
Yeah.
and all around,
Other one.
all around
Average.
average one.
Yeah.
I will admit that they have different bodies. But I feel like they're not. I don't agree that it's a Casper spread either. There's no tall, thin one. I don't.
I think it's a subtle
There's-
Casper spread.
Yes. I think so too. I think that the 2, Flora and Fauna, are similar sizes. I think one is a little bit
Lankier.
taller and lankier than the
Yeah.
other one,
Barely.
but only
I would-
slightly. Not in the way that like in Casper, how
Yeah.
the one is like very long.
Listen, these are 3 women that have done no physical work in their entire existence. So, like, of course, they're all going to have, like, pretty soft features, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and I will agree that they all have
Those hips don't lie.
those hips don't lie. Yep.
Yep.
And of
You know, I
course, we
wanna
just
go
say
back-
we celebrate all their bodies throughout the movie. No body shame here. We love all bodies. All
We
fairies.
love, we love various sized fairies. We love thick ass horses. Prince Philip's horse is a thick king. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, still not the horse I was thinking of. I don't know what this Disney horse is.
Are you thinking of the horse from
Tangled?
Frozen.
Tangled, yeah.
Maybe Tangled. Yeah,
That horse
thinking of
is very funny.
a fancy one with like just a sick ass mane.
Oh no,
It's
you're
so
thinking of
luxurious.
it's a brown horse and it's got kind of a curly mane.
Yeah. I want a curly mane on my horse.
You know,
Yeah, who I don't know
Sure.
which prince that is.
Tweet at us. Hashtag.
Cinderella, maybe?
just tweet at us a link to
All
all
horses.
the horses
Yep.
in Disney.
Yes,
that
all
someone
all the
has
Disney.
carefully
Hashtag all the Disney's
cataloged.
horses.
All the Disney's
Hashtag guess all
horses and all the
horses.
Disney's men.
One of those.
Yes. Molly, I feel like you were trying to contribute to something and then Dan wouldn't shut up.
Yeah, I feel that way too.
That
actually.
happens sometimes. Yeah. No, I wanted to go back to this Meriwether thing because, Beth, I think you're correct. I think Meriwether has done it all, and she had a real sense of shock that her sisters, it's not super clear.
Unclear.
But they're,
Co-workers?
yeah, I don't know. But she seems so shocked about it. And I just want to say that the failure with the cake is one of the most adorable cartoon failures I think I've ever seen.
Agreed.
Yeah,
They
it's pretty
really
great.
go out of their way. And I also just so loved how all of these fairies are so geared towards finding the positive in everything
Mm-hmm.
that they just keep trying to talk each other up. So like, oh, the cake will look nicer when it's baked. It'll it's just hilarious. Yeah, they just do such a wonderful job, I think, of embodying like what it must be like to always have to be cheerful and look on the bright side. It's the way you're built. But if
Yeah,
you're
because they were
Meriwether
introduced
and you
as like the good fairies, right?
Yeah, they are. And
Yeah.
that's their whole thing. And like they can't, I mean, I thought I was actually pretty surprised they were able to cut through metal to free Prince Philip and his steed, whose name was
Samson.
Samson.
Oh,
Yes.
sure. That makes
Think
sense.
he has more hair.
Yeah.
No, because he's thick.
Samson has the big hair. That's why he's strong.
I know, but he was thick.
This is the source of his power.
He's covered
At
with
any
hair. It's
rate,
fine.
Listeners at home, make up your own point and insert it here, Beth, and then you just put it back in.
Oh,
okay?
perfect.
It's like a Mad
612 A089. The last four letters don't matter.
We do. Oh, but
If
you
you're
do.
wondering, that's a phone number
Two T's
that
and
you can
butts.
call.
Two T's
Otherwise,
and
it's just a series of numbers and letters.
Listen, if you're this far into the show and you haven't figured out what that nonsense
This
calls
could be
for,
someone's first episode.
that's
Or-
true.
Yeah.
They saw Sleeping Beauty. They're like, I'm a huge sleep you head.
I even thought in the first half, maybe we should take the time to describe what the Bechdel-Wallace test is again.
Well,
Oh,
we
right.
also didn't mention it, did we?
Yeah, we did in the
did.
first half, yeah.
Okay, because it passed a lot.
Yeah.
Spectacularly.
To pass the Bechdel-Wallace test, you need to have two
Beth, I'm going to
names.
interrupt you so I can talk to Dan.
two women characters that are both named, and they speak to each other about something that is not a man.
Yes.
And this passed with flying colors.
3 colors,
Pink
in
and
fact.
blue.
Oh, those colors.
And
Yeah.
boy, do they fly.
Yes, they do.
Yeah,
Yes.
they sure do.
I have a
was thinking
question.
about, yeah.
What do you
Go
want? I'm still on these fairies and their labor dynamic.
Yeah.
Well, their labor dynamic is fascinating, but also their the way they must have raised this child. And this
Right.
child is only ever known having 3 equal women
Very positive.
and must assume that who are all very positive and encouraging people.
Yeah.
And she must just assume that that's how every household is. Right?
Yeah, she is not prepared. I mean, I guess she's kind of prepared to be pampered by women for the rest of her life because she's just going to go be a princess. Here's my theory about the labor distribution of the 3 fairies. If you'll go on a bit of a analogy journey with me.
Yes.
So I think the way it works, based on what we've talked about, which I fully agree with, I think Flora and Fauna, between the two of them, one of them is Jonathan Van Ness and one of them is Karamo. And then Meriwether is Bobby,
Oh.
who
Does
just
all the
fucking
work.
lifts,
Doing the whole
doing
thing.
all the huge shit that actually allows Aurora to live somewhere
Yeah,
in a functioning space.
that seems accurate.
I guess
Yeah.
Fauna is Karamo. She seems more in charge, right?
Is Fauna the one that was like, we're going to put our wands away for 16 years? Give me that.
I guess I'm
Yeah. Give me
that
assuming
wand.
Flora's the green one because,
Flora's the green
Plants?
one.
Oh, perfect. Got it.
yeah, and she's a bit more spacey and lovey-dovey.
Yeah, that makes sense. That tracks.
Yeah.
And she was my favorite when I was a kid.
Which one?
And I did remember watching this movie, Flora.
Okay.
And I remember liking Meriwether a little bit more. I liked her spunk and her style.
Yeah.
But I was extremely loyal to my
Ooh.
favorite color, which was green. And
Makes sense.
so because Flora was wearing green, she had to be my favorite and was my favorite.
Yeah.
Speaking of Meriwether's spunk, shout out to whoever was in charge of animating her, because that little like frustrated
Yeah.
wiggle she does
Yeah.
is so good.
It's very good.
Mm-hmm.
So good.
It was great. She really spoke truth to power.
Meriwether?
And yeah, and I think it's really telling that Meriwether was so reluctant to give up her wand because she knew what she was getting into. She knew these older ladies had no marketable skills.
Yeah. Well, and they were like, she could tell they were like falsely confident about raising a child.
Yeah. And I know this has to happen for the movie to do anything, but it's pretty maddening that they can't just keep it together for 24 more hours.
Oh my
After
God. Right?
16 years of not using magic. They got until the end of her 16th birthday. They're going to just do it in the morning.
By
day
the
after her
grace
16th birthday.
of God, they have managed to keep this child alive for 16 years despite being complete morons, apparently.
Why even bring her to the castle before she's 16?
Yeah. Do it
There's
in
no
in
reason.
the morning.
Yeah.
And what? And like they were so. I just loved how they were so careful, even when they were like, "Okay, it's fine. We'll just use a little bit of magic." But like, we'll close up all of the little nooks and crannies so the magic doesn't shoot out, so that Maleficent can see it. But then they just forget like how chimneys work, apparently.
Yeah.
And then
The flue was closed.
that whole thing is very confusing to me, because then the second part of that is while they're doing that and preparing her birthday stuff, she's out in the woods
Alone.
flirting with with Prince Philip.
Yeah.
They're flirting it up, and
Yeah, they are.
she comes home and she's upset because she learns that she's going to go back and live at the castle, and she's betrothed. Did they tell her that?
Yeah.
Yep.
then?
From the day she was born.
And they're so convinced, and the story really focuses on the fact that she's like, oh, she can't be with the boy she met in the woods 5 seconds ago. But nothing about the fact that, like, her life as she knows it is completely incorrect.
Right.
Like, those aren't really her aunts. They're actually fairies.
Yeah.
She's actually a princess. Her parents are still alive, and she's going to go meet them for the first time, and her life is going to be 100% different.
Yeah.
Like, think of the emotional roller coaster that she's going through, and they're like, oh no, she's upset about the prince.
Yeah, although the way the movie plays it, like, that is the main thing she's upset about. So, like, that whole household is just, like, really focusing on, like, the most minor of details.
It's so ridiculous.
I mean, like, it's one thing where it's like, okay, they use magic. I get it. They haven't used it for 16 years. They get a little reckless. Okay, so their magic is bouncing up the chimney, and the crow, we'll talk about the crow. Crow's awesome.
Yep.
Sees the magic and comes down to investigate. But then they just, like, the crow's been tasked with finding this 16-year-old maid, right? Who is, whatever, blonde hair, whatever, all the standards of European beauty that she was blessed with
Lips
as a
the
baby.
color of roses.
Yes. And so the crow is just there, like, checking it out, and they literally, like, explain the entire identity of this woman out loud.
Dan,
the crow
this is a movie
like,
for children.
I
It's
understand
a
that.
movie for 5 and 6 year olds.
But I just love how it's like their timing is Fauna even closed the windows before when she was using magic. Now she knows Aurora's met another human being out there who's apparently nearby. She doesn't think to close up those windows again. That crow looks so pleased with himself because of course he is. Like, he got a slam dunk by doing basically nothing.
And then, by
Just
the way,
follow the
they
magic.
bring her back to the castle, put her in a room by herself, and then leave.
Like,
You
again,
stay
talk
with
about how
her.
sad she is.
You stay with her until that sun sets.
Ugh.
That is your job. 16 years, and then you're like,
Just
nah,
keep it
she'll be
together.
fine.
They trusted them.
the thing is that even if the fairies had been in the room, Maleficent could still have done all those things because they can't counteract her magic per magic. They're really pretty helpless to do anything. She could have still turned into a little swirly ball and led Aurora all the way up the stairs. She doesn't even know her name's Aurora when she moves into
That's
the
a good
castle.
point.
Oh,
She thinks her name is Briar Rose.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is very hard.
they should
Yeah.
have just kept her in the house. Kept her in the house until the sunset. Then,
Just
all right, we're
have
going to have
the
a party
king-
with magic. We're going to go back to the castle.
Yeah.
It's going to be great.
Just wake up,
Why
make
didn't they
some
just-
eggs.
Just
Hey,
have
you
one of the women go back to the castle as just like, a simple peasant lady who's come to celebrate the event that's apparently happening around town. Then go up to the king, be like, by the way, we've got your daughter in this cottage in the woods.
Yeah.
So maybe you could bring out some kind of armed retinue or something to bring her back to the castle.
Do you think maybe they were worried Philip would think she's too old and gross if she's like a day over 16?
I mean, honestly, at this time of human history, yes, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did love how one of the running jokes was Prince Philip saying, "Dad, it is the 14th century,"
Yeah.
which I always thought was a more modern joke than it is. Because this movie came out in 1959,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which is later than I think all of us guessed.
Yeah.
Beth with 56, pretty close.
Very
But
good,
yeah.
Beth.
But it's almost the 60s.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
Much later.
So,
And, Cinderella did come out before it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
1950, I think it was.
Yes. The spread of movies is so fascinating to me. So Snow White came out in 1937.
Okay.
Then Cinderella doesn't happen for another 13 years, 1950. Then another 9 years before Sleeping Beauty happens. And then 30 years until Little Mermaid.
Really?
Yeah, Little Mermaid comes out in 1989.
There
So
were
what's up?
other
What do they do in
movies.
yeah, but what kinds of because these are like they like bring the princess thing back.
Mm-hmm.
Disney does. What do they do in those 30 years? What kinds
Talking
of movies?
Well, they're
Animals?
doing all the other movies. They're
Yeah, Lady and
doing
the Tramp,
101
I think, is in there.
Dalmatians and
Yeah.
yeah.
Did anything-
Dogs.
Yeah, a lot of dogs. Did anything happen between Snow White and Cinderella, or did it take them that long to like get their shit together for another one?
I don't know. Oh, you mean did other movies come out?
I think Fantasia is in between those.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, I think there were definitely movies in between them, but in terms of like, if we think about the princess history, I just never realized there were such huge gaps
Yeah.
between
Yeah.
them.
Me neither.
Maybe that's why they felt like they could basically tell the same story, because they're just like, oh, the kids have grown out of it. They won't notice.
Yeah. I mean, this and
Yeah.
Snow White are both Grimm's fairy tales, but of course, those fairy tales, takes 2 minutes to tell the story as it
Right.
was in the oral tradition.
Yes.
Expanded to 90 minutes or whatever. But yeah, it is still like, hey, princess got to hide her in the woods. And the evil witch queen mother's going to kill her. Now she's asleep. Kiss her. All right.
Also, there's lots of animals around, and now we're gonna clean.
Yes.
And
Like 2 hours.
Yeah. The animals still rule.
Yes, they do.
Oh.
Disney
So good.
continues to kill it with little fluffy tailed squirrels
Amazing.
and birds and such.
this one's got an owl.
This
So
one's got an
good.
owl, which I still think it's very rude. They woke up this owl. They wake up all the animals.
Yes.
It's like fully day,
Yes.
and they get that owl up. But
I mean, it's going to be messed up for a couple days for sure.
yeah, but that owl
Ooh.
is
I think that owl is happy to be awake.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That owl can hunt.
Oh my
he
goodness!
is trying to get with Briar
Down
Rose to the
to
point where he dresses
flock.
up in Prince Philip's cloak and puts the moves on.
Yeah.
Well, he's kind of he's dancing with.
I mean,
her.
it's a team effort because the birds are controlling the sleeves and they wrap her up in its arms. I'm putting that in
Yeah.
quotes. I'm still unclear on what the squirrel's job was because the squirrel spent.
Oh,
The squirrel
Most
has
of
to
its
look
time-
like a little ponytail. Like
Why?
A little fancy man ponytail. Because
Why?
that's what ladies want. They want that little squirrel tail ponytail.
Prince
a
Philip
little
doesn't have a
ponytail.
ponytail.
Well,
does
he's
he?
a-
I share your disappointment also, Dan, because
I'm not disappointed.
squirrel
I'm
is the first
flabbergasted.
to spot the situation, to alert the other birds and critters to this golden opportunity to make Briar Rose's fantasy come true by dressing up as her prince. Now, if the owl takes it too far, I don't know that I picked up on that, but I trust
well, the
He's
one
very
moment where
into
the
it.
owl takes it a little, he's very into it. He looks at these two little birds sitting next to him, and he winks at them. like, you know what's about to go down,
Yeah.
kind of thing. He's watching Aurora and Prince Philip kind of dance through the woods.
Yeah, I don't know. I
He's
think the
like,
owl
"Wink?"
is just sort of like horned up in general, and it's like,
It's a horny owl.
yeah,
Great
exactly,
horned.
great horned.
Great.
As Beth said.
I mean,
context change.
Yep.
Ooh.
I did.
I think it's just a horned up pansexual who is just like,
Yeah, he's loving the sexual energy in the woods.
yeah, it's just like the vibe. It's not even necessarily that he needs to be involved. He's just into the vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe he has a deal with the other animals where he's like, wake me up
If-
for
Listen, if any hot broads,
action, you know?
if any
Beauties in the
beautiful
woods.
people come into the woods, you pull me out of that tree
Thick horses, caped men,
singing
anything.
Or maybe
beautiful
the owl,
ladies with their beautiful voices.
maybe the owl's like going through a hard breakup, and the other animals were like, "Come on, you got to get
He
out
needs
there."
a win.
Yeah.
It's like, listen, we'll have him be the fake prince. He needs to feel like he can dance again.
And that's why the squirrel's in the jacket, because he's like, "I got to help out my friend."
Oh, so the squirrel's up in the hat, like giving him tips.
In the hat, giving advice, like
yeah.
Ratatouille.
He's like Ratatouille.
Yeah.
I mean, again, as we do on this podcast, let's give a shout out to the laborers on the lower end of the
bunnies.
dynamic. Those bunnies were killing it as boots.
Oh, so good.
Yeah, for sure. I do want
One
to talk
bunny per
about
boot.
laborers as well.
Please.
One for sure, the court lutist, who's my MVP, who just gets
Ruled.
absolutely hammered off this wine.
Up.
Which I was thinking, like, I get why, but in children's movies these days, you don't see someone just get completely shit canned and fall asleep under a table.
Right.
And there was something about it that was like, innocent's the wrong word, but sort of like that. Like, I remember watching kids' movies and people would drink a thing and then they'd hiccup and fall asleep and it's fine,
Yeah.
you know? I wasn't scarred. I didn't turn into an alcoholic because of this drunk lutist. But we can't do anything because of this PC culture. You can't.
That's right.
You can't have a
Ooh.
drunk lutist
Can't
in a
even-
Disney movie. But I loved him. But then I was also thinking about how much I hate these royals.
Yeah.
They're like eating that. Hubert is just eating that turkey, like taking one bite and throwing it
And
away.
Throwing it away.
While
Ugh.
I'm sure there's like people starving in gutters out in the town.
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, that ludist was a revolutionary in that he saw opportunities to take something from the highest aristocrats of the land.
Yeah.
I mean, at first it was a happy accident because he had poured little glasses to serve it, and then Hubert, being the glutton that he is just like, no, let's pour it into these larger glasses. And then he quietly took a little sip of his little glass,
Yeah.
and then he, I don't know, because he saw, like, he clearly was just like very good at reading the room. He's like, Hubert is a wide gesturer.
Yeah.
I can use this to my advantage. I will have its bottle pour back into the glass. And then at a certain point, he's just like, this isn't going to last forever. So he manages to manipulate the situation where his lute is filled with the wine.
Yeah. And then it's just glug glug all the way
Just
down.
parties.
Well, he gets bolder as he gets drunker.
He does. He does.
But also, he appears to be the only employee
Of
at all
Hubert,
present.
yes.
Yeah.
Like,
he has
he's
to
there
play the
to
lute and
serve
serve
drinks.
He has to show
the
architectural designs.
Yep.
He's the
just
Merryweather
at the
of the castle.
Yeah.
He is.
Yeah.
And then holding
That's
it
a Merriweather
together. But
needed.
they're at, yeah, and so Hubert is the father of Philip,
Yes.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
right? Okay, but then but I think very
Stefan.
reasonably, Aurora's father
Yes.
is less celebratory and more worried,
Yes.
and
Oh,
completely
yes.
understandably, he literally has not laid eyes on his daughter since she was a newborn.
Yes. A cursed newborn.
And
Curse
if I'm
newborn.
him, I know this curse is gonna happen before she's 16, supposedly.
Right.
And so it's getting closer and closer to like it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
And she's not home yet.
And he's thinking in the back of his head, like, I put my trust into these three women who I barely know.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. I guess I don't know their
And who
dynamic.
are going to do this without the benefit of magic?
Ooh. Do you think
You know what
they
I'm
know
saying?
that part?
Like, I don't. They must, because she takes away their wands right away, I guess. I don't
That's
know, but But to me, that would be the only reassuring thing. It's like the thing you have that I don't have, because he has a castle and a moat and many employees.
Yeah.
And he burned
Yeah.
all the
To
spinning
provide
wheels.
safety.
Yeah, he burned all the things.
And we're going to go into this vulnerable woods in this tiny little house.
I mean, I guess to their
people who-
credit, like, it worked for 16 years and 300 or, however many days. Because Maleficent was like, I mean, to her credit, like, it's so hard to get good help these days. Because she
Right.
had her awesome army of ridiculous ghouls who
Yes.
don't understand how human biology works and been looking for an infant for 16 years.
Yeah, that's
They
pretty good.
rule. I really
They
like
were-
the
they
character
do rule.
design on the goons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
agreed.
They're like, pig men and
Bird people and then
They're
just
great.
like general monster things.
Yeah.
Delightful.
Do you think they were all like people she captured and she turned into henchmen, and so maybe their
Oh.
motivation isn't very strong?
I think they were a gift from her master, Lord Satan.
Oh my!
As she mentions at the end, she is going to demonstrate all the powers of hell to Prince Philip. So
Yep.
she is a child of Gary Marshall, much just like the whatever sisters.
Yeah.
Sanders
Focus
and-
Pocus. Hocus Pocus.
Are we talking about Hocus Pocus?
Hocus
Yeah.
Pocus.
Yes.
I got there.
Got there.
So I think
Yeah.
they are just like, I think they are low-level demonic imps who have been put into her service.
Oh, okay.
That seems right. I feel like there's a lot of mentions of how like she is the queen of evil, and
Hmm.
like to the point where I'm like, I thought, oh, maybe she's supposed to be the devil because she does have those horns.
Yeah.
Yep.
She like breathes fire when she's a dragon.
Sure.
Well, I
And-
think then she should maybe understand why people don't want to have her at their parties.
I mean, yeah, I agree with you, Molly. Like, if you go around referring to yourself as the mistress of all evil, you shouldn't be that surprised if you're not
I
invited.
mean, I bet she gets to go to plenty of evil parties that other people don't get to go to, or don't
Well,
want to have to be forced
here's
to go
something that one of our totes heads pointed out.
Ooh.
We're gonna jump
to.
a little around a little bit and go to a Discord question. We'll explain those later.
Is this a question or a comment?
A little bit of both.
Ooh.
Lady Grimm asks/says, "Did you know that by medieval tradition, both good and evil fairies would give blessings to a child, and so not inviting Maleficent was a super big insult and actually makes her curse kind of justified?"
Oh, Stefan, you idiot.
I did not know that.
I did not know that either.
No.
Well, now I
and-
feel more justified in kind of being on her side.
Yeah, and
Wow.
and now you kind of feel a little bit more for the single line that the queen, who is aggressively not named, in this movie.
Aggressively not named.
Like they go
literally
out of their way
referred
to
to
never
as
give her a
King
name.
Stefan and his queen,
Yeah,
Yep.
the queen.
yeah. Her only line is Maleficent is there, and is like, "Ooh, I didn't get invited. Oh, but I'm not mad." And the queen's like, "Oh, really?
She's actually mad.
Yeah, Your Excellency." She's very respectful.
Very respectful.
And is like, just check it in. She says something like, "Oh, for real, Your Excellency, you're not mad?"
Yeah.
That's all we get. But I feel like the queen knew, like, should have
I
invited
feel like the
her.
queen was like, "Hey,
You invited
husband,
Maleficent, right?
Yeah.
You invited
She-
Maleficent, right? Because I don't want to be separated from this one child that I got to have,
Yeah.
because apparently they had been struggling."
Yeah.
And also, I will say, as a mom, if someone were like, "I'm going to take your kid away to the woods for 16 minutes, much
Yeah.
less 16 years," I would lose my ding dang mind.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of emotional stuff that they do not cover in this.
Yeah,
It really
it's a
doesn't
shame.
explore at all.
It's a shame we didn't get to see their pitch to the king and queen, right?
They're like, they will protest, of course.
Yeah.
Like, really? You think
Like,
so?
I would love to see their presentation. Because apparently it was
little fairy
fantastic.
PowerPoint.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Here's our plan.
Here's how I felt about Maleficent. I kind of was won over her. Like, at first I was already like, okay, she kind of rules because she's just like cool as shit. She's got incredible swagger and
Yeah.
style. But then, like, by the time she was sort of involving herself directly back into things, I was like, she's the smartest person in this movie,
Yeah.
Oh,
right?
yes. Yeah.
Like she can
fair.
actually make plans and follow through on them. Unlike all the other people in this movie.
Yeah, I found myself liking her more than I anticipated. My memory was she was pretty basic, just like cast a spell, then turn into a dragon, get killed. But she's got some real attitude that I appreciate.
Yeah, she's sassy.
Yeah.
I appreciated I appreciated the fact that she was, she sort of had the attitude of old hag queen from Snow White, except all the time, right?
Yeah.
Where it was sort of like, I know I'm evil and I'm having a great time and I'm going to make fun of you when I'm doing it.
You know, I will say this movie was filled with strong women.
Yes.
And we didn't get to hear from the queen that much, but I assume she was smarter than her husband.
I mean,
Certainly more
she
diplomatic.
kept herself together for 16 years, it looked like.
She sure did.
Yeah.
But, even at the end where the prince is fighting the dragon and
Yes.
fighting to get to Aurora,
Yes.
he is helped every step of the way by these three
every
ladies.
step.
To the point where at one point they whisper in his ear, hey, use this.
Yeah, use the sword we
use the
gave
sword.
you.
And we're going to go ahead and just give it a little extra spin on it
Yeah.
to make sure
Like,
that you succeed.
Maybe I'll make the sword a little brighter so you can really notice this thing that's in your hand that we specifically gave you to fight back.
Yeah, and I had remembered it as him saving Aurora, but really it's the fairies saving him so he can get to Aurora. It's not really like they are getting
He's
him from
basically
the
just
castle.
a mouth,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
For their purposes,
To
like
kiss?
for their
Yeah.
purposes, he's basically just a mouth that they need to get to the right location.
Yeah.
Yeah, he seems very bad at sword fighting. And maybe it's the animation capabilities in 1959, but all his moves are wave it in front of him as fast as he can.
Yeah. It really looked like how little kids look like when they play with swords,
Yeah.
you know?
Yes.
They probably just had an animator like, hey, Hank, you do it in the middle of the room. Yeah, that looks right.
Yeah.
I mean, like
And-
this,
And it works because he's up against
I did kind of a waggle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it works because he's up against these goons who just throw all their melee weapons.
Okay, yeah, like I mean, we already established that her people are incompetent because they were looking for a baby for 16 years. But like, I did not realize they were like even bad at like ostensibly the one thing they're there for, which is to be like an offensive force, because they are like literally throwing like clearly like handheld melee weapons at the prince and completely whiffing it, by the way. Like it's a stormtrooper level of aiming. But like with a club and a sword.
I really wish I understood better what the matchup of Maleficent versus the good fairies would be.
Yeah.
Because they were very afraid to go to the Mountain of Doom, right?
Yeah.
And they seemed very brave in having to overcome those fears and show up anyway and do what they did. But part of me was like, well, what could Maleficent do to them? You know what I'm saying? Like what is the specific danger to them?
I think they're just intimidated by her.
Yeah. I think
Because she's so smart.
Yeah. They sort of say at the top when Merryweather is like, let's turn her into a toad, a hop toad, which I really liked.
Yeah, me too.
I want to call all toads hop toads from now on.
Mm-hmm.
And her two older fairy sisters or whatever they are was like, we can't do that. We only use our magic for good, happiness, and joy or whatever. So I think their powers are limited in usability. Like they only have spells that can sort of support.
So there's like this loophole of like, I can't attack Maleficent, but I can make you a sword, human man.
Yeah. They can turn rocks
So, there's
into
gotta be a
bubbles.
middleman.
But
Yes.
Maleficent
But
can
then there's
shoot
nothing stopping
lightning.
Maleficent from harming them.
Clearly not.
Right.
Right? Well, I guess we don't know for sure.
Yeah, I don't know if there's a sisterhood.
We
or
assume
something.
not, because otherwise they would just saunter in, right?
Maybe there's like an oath or something. An oath of fairydom.
Do you think they're related?
Ooh, maybe. Why not?
Like Maleficent is their fourth sister?
Or like their mother.
Oh.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Think about it.
Mom Maleficent, more like.
I love it. I
That's a
love the
movie.
theory.
Bad
Yeah.
Mom Felicity.
Make that a movie. Bad Moms,
Bad Moms 4.
Maleficent.
Bad Mom.
Mom Maleficent. Starring Angelina Jolie and her cheekbones.
Yeah.
Yep.
Before we get too far from Maleficent, I want to hit another Discord question, which
Ooh.
Leo asks: how does Maleficent rank with the other Disney villains? I always found myself rooting for her as a kid. Those royals should have known not to be so rude.
It's a solid point.
I think we've
I feel
covered
like
the rudeness, but yeah.
Yes.
yeah, I would totally be on her side if she hadn't threatened a baby. Like, the baby's completely innocent. No
Sure.
reason for the
Yeah.
baby to be attacked.
Yeah.
But like, if you want to just like crash that party, that's cool with me.
Yeah, and then just be like, ooh, hey, King, your dong doesn't work anymore or something.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Or just turn their left foot into a toad. Like,
just
that'd
some
be
pranks.
pretty bad.
Just do some pranks.
They need to be a hop toad for sure.
I feel
Yeah.
like my favorite villain will always be the villain from Mermaid.
Ursula.
Yeah.
No one can
Ursula
top
is the
Ursula.
gold standard
Yeah.
Yeah.
Disney villain.
An unreachable high. Does she
She's pretty good.
Does she Ruella more than Cruella?
Yes.
Okay.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
I think Cruella's
think
got good design, but lacks personality.
Sass. Yeah,
sass.
I feel like she had more of what we were expecting from Cruella, which was just like, I've got great outfits, and I'm gonna just like, I don't know, be a dick to you all the time.
Yeah, the amount of shade she throws, like the passive aggression curse that she lays down at the beginning is very good.
That's I mean that alone is already
Yeah.
like a great move. Just like, hey, like this incredibly passive thing that's like crucial to your way of life is going to kill your daughter at some point.
yeah.
Good luck. And then
I'm not
she's
mad.
like, I also like that she, I mean, again, maybe this is just like the way it is with magic people where they can't help but like demonstrate to whoever needs this information, the information they need. But she like cruelly shows Prince Philip like her plans for him, which is like, here's the spell, here's how you could stop it, but I'm not going to let you out of here for 100 years. Which like a great psyop on her part to actually
Yeah.
show him like being dejected and old, and then going
And
to
his horse. She
Oh,
also
Samson.
is so mean that she has also taken his horse captive.
and not even let them like hang out.
No.
He's just chained up in the courtyard.
Yeah.
Like, that's pretty bad.
rules.
But I would say she was, I would definitely I think she was much cooler than the witch in Snow White, who was just, just too worried about her own appearance and doing too much comparison.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Except for the scene
So-
where
buried
the witch
alive.
from Snow White laughs for so long. That still really tickles me. Just cackles
Oh, yeah.
for like
That's
an entire
amazing.
tunnel's worth of
Yeah.
travel.
Like a day's worth of travel.
Yeah.
Hag form, Snow White Queen is
Yeah,
great.
better than Scar. Yeah, I think Maleficent is top tier.
You think that's why they made a movie about her?
I guess so. Yeah.
2
Yeah,
movies?
probably.
Except those movies are all like, oh, she's actually not that bad.
That's just
Which
to
I
get
guess
more marketable characters to keep
I
selling
guess that like
widgets.
tracks a little bit with this movie where it's like she mostly did this shitty thing because they were shitty to her, but I feel like in the movies with Angelina Jolie, it's like it's not just like they didn't invite her to a party. It's like, ooh, we hate you and we banish you and we'll throw rocks at you, blah, or something.
Bleh.
Yeah,
Well,
but yeah,
I think
she's
we
up there for
thoroughly
sure.
answered that question.
Great,
Yeah.
Great
cute
drip.
and
incredible outfit.
Yes.
Top 5 outfit for sure for Disney villains.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, Scar is nude, so that doesn't really count. But
Yep.
I guess Ursula might also be nude. It's unclear.
I feel like she's
She's
got a
got
one
kind of
piece.
like
on.
She's
a-
got something.
Yeah.
Got like a
Like
strapless.
Yeah,
something.
strapless top.
That's not just part of her octopus bottom?
I
It seems
think,
like it's.
I think she's chosen
comes
to
up?
do that. Maybe she like
She found a
did the
color that
coloring.
matches. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a bodice, at least.
Sure. Tweet at us, I guess. I don't know.
I mean, I'm sure you could find a lot of artwork about
Yeah, maybe don't.
Disney villains. And
Maybe
clothes
don't.
and
Maybe don't tweet at
whether
us.
they do or don't have them on. For better or for
Ugh.
worse.
Yeah.
No shame. We celebrate your kinks.
I guess.
To Well, was there another Discord question?
Sure. Yeah, Molly, there is. There's two more. Fra asks, how does the concept of kissing a sleeping woman without consent sit with everyone today?
Right.
Still not well.
Yeah.
Though this one, I feel like they're pretty established as in love both ways.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's definitely better than the Snow White situation, right?
Yeah.
Because Snow White situation is sort of like, la 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 la, I'm Snow White, and then him being like, la 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 la, I'm here too, which they have that scene in this movie too, where Aurora is singing, and then the prince is like, hello, now I'm also here. Yeah. I'm a man. Let me involve myself in your song.
Yeah, I'm going to
keep
at least
grabbing
then they
your
arms while you try and run away.
But then at least they're like...
Let me ask a question.
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
No, please.
I was going to ask a question about, like,
Did they
CPR.
bang? Oh.
Okay.
CPR.
Because CPR is a similar thing. You're doing mouth to mouth.
Yeah.
You're giving someone the breath of life.
Yeah.
Like he's essentially doing magic CPR on her.
I guess. But like he's probably holding his breath because he's like, ooh, stinky, because she's just been lying there for
ooh,
who
somebody
knows how
didn't
long.
brush her teeth
Yeah.
before she went to bed.
Yeah. I don't know.
I will say, yeah, this went down a lot easier than other scenarios. I think in large part because she had expressed an interest in him.
Yes.
There was mutual expression of interest, and immediately upon waking, she gives a big smile in a way that says, I consent to this.
Yeah, it says a little more than that, I would argue.
Yeah.
Oh, well, it certainly says, I'm glad to not be asleep. For
Agreed.
the next
And I'm glad that
99
it's you
years.
who has kissed me. Yeah.
Yeah.
This one is better because there's at least like a lot of groundwork has been laid for like, hey, you need to go do this, right? Like it's like every character is basically established like you, this specific person, you have to go do this. Where I feel like in Snow White, it's more like the prince heard a story about a sleeping lady in the woods and he's just going to go check it out.
Oh, it turns out I kind of know her, so
That
that's
worked
fine.
out.
I'm gonna kiss her. Yeah, and
Yeah,
that's
he doesn't
true.
know that he doesn't know. Okay, in Sleeping Beauty, the prince knows when he kisses her, she will wake up. That will
Yes.
break the curse.
Like it has been like laid out for him point by
in
point.
Snow White, he's just like, I'm gonna kiss this dead chick in the middle of the woods.
Do you dare me? Do
he
you dare me to
doesn't-
kiss a dead girl in the woods?
To the horse, he says.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Or some random squirrel in a tree. Yeah, so it's definitely better.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe... maybe
I get the sense if they had said she will wake upon the asking of a compelling and interesting question that honors her intelligence, that he would have been happy to do that as well.
Sure.
Yeah.
You know?
So what we're saying, I think, again, is that Merriweather fucked up and they're bad at their jobs.
I was thinking about the magic in this, and does it have to rhyme? Is that how everybody's getting locked in? Because like
Ooh,
most of
seemed
it
like
does.
Yeah.
And I was thinking as Maleficent was putting brambles up, like, I mean, that's cool, but not that good. Like you can get through brambles. It takes a little bit of time, but
That poor horse.
everybody's
so
asleep in
pointy.
there.
That poor horse.
Yeah. And Philip is going so hard.
He's going
Like,
he's going
just
to town
cool
on those
down
things.
a little bit and get some laborers and clear that bramble.
Do you...
Like, it'll take a
Yeah,
couple
they're going to
days.
stay asleep. It's fine. Like,
What,
going
what
anywhere.
was their plan there? Like,
Whose
they
plan?
put the whole
Oh,
town to sleep?
oh, yeah.
That
okay.
is insane.
That is...
That was my...
That's when you
favorite
know, like,
part.
okay, they are just not that good at this job. Like, the fact that they were like... They basically just panicked, right? They were just like, oh,
for
fuck.
For sure.
Oh, shit.
Shut it down.
The king's gonna like they're the Marys was like, oh, the king's gonna be so upset, which was an understatement, I think, because I feel like they were gonna get their magical heads chopped off. So then I feel like here's what I think. I think Fauna, the leader, right?
Uh-huh.
I think inside she was like sweating bullets. She was losing her mind, like, oh fuck, this is so bad. But she had to keep up appearances to keep the other fairies calm. And then in her head, she's like running through all these scenarios, right? Like if we did a quick zoom into her brain, it'd just be like this insane back and forth of like what we could do. It's like, oh, we'll cover him with brambles. No, that's so stupid, Fauna. That's so stupid. And then she stumbled upon like, she's like, okay, think. She's asleep. Sleep. Okay. And then we
No
zoom
one will
back
know.
out.
Everyone's asleep.
She keeps her facade of calmness, like, oh, we'll just put everyone to sleep until she wakes up, which is like, that's not a plan.
Yeah.
Oh,
And then it's
that
so,
is just
like,
a cover-up.
Yeah.
It
Think
is
how
a cover-up.
fucked It would be then, like, if you're just like a German peasant from a couple towns away, like,
Yeah.
I'm going to go see the festivities.
This party's going to
oh, bye,
rule.
my family. I'm going to go to the party. And then you go there, and then you sleep for what, like 50 years or something?
Yeah, man.
And then your family just thinks you're dead, and
Yeah.
you never come back just because
Oh.
the fairies panicked.
I mean, presumably a bunch of nobles from like other kingdoms came, so like the fairies could have like just put all of Europe into just like unrest and war.
Completely destabilized, which I think
Absolutely.
is Maleficent's whole plan, right? She's just killing heirs, locking
yeah.
them up, just
Oh,
so
yeah.
that bring down the royals. Which now
Yeah.
I'm like on board.
Oh, absolutely.
Just
I mean,
yeah,
again,
burn it
Maleficent.
down.
Maleficent is the hero, but not because of the movies that made her nice.
Yeah,
or
I mean,
whatever.
she's got those like solidarity
they didn't
fists
even-
holding up her bridge.
Oh, those were awesome. The whole design of her castle was amazing.
Like they didn't even know. They didn't even know who the boy she liked was yet. They were just like, we'll put the whole town to sleep, and then once True Love's kiss happens, they'll all wake up. It'll be fine.
It'll
But
just
They
happen.
were in a panic. They
But, like,
just
what were they
panicked.
gonna do?
My favorite text during the entire movie was all caps, "A crime has been committed."
I don't know. Yeah, it was a desperate plan that they did not think through at all. Like, what if
Well,
Prince
they
Philip,
didn't have time.
what if he fell down a ditch on his way to the cottage? Then they're screwed. Then they'd literally have to like, no, they couldn't do it because she
Are
had
they
to fall in
screwed
love
worse
with him.
than having their little heads cut off by the king?
Okay, well, that's just selfish.
They can't fix anything.
They
then.
serve the realm, Molly.
You know what I would have liked? I would have liked if they were like, okay, we're going to put everybody to sleep, but we're going to give the queen a chance to catch up with Aurora.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Or,
yeah,
like,
where it's like, okay,
Have her
she
kiss
wakes
her,
up.
her cheek.
Yeah,
My
because
mom
that's
is a
true love.
That's true
Yeah,
love,
but does
yeah.
well, does it have to go both ways though?
Oh, right.
Like,
'cause
as
Aurora
far as
doesn't know,
Aurora is
but-
concerned, she has no idea who this woman is.
Just some random queen.
This is a disaster.
Yeah.
Make everyone go to sleep. That's the best option.
Panic.
But yeah, I agree with Molly though. Like the nice thing to do would be to have, again, just thrown a little caveat to him. It's just like, okay, he kisses. Okay, here's what should have happened. He kisses Aurora, right? Boom, he goes to sleep for like 6-8 hours, right? She's
With a
awake.
solid night's sleep.
Queen wakes up. They bring them together, just like, hey, catch up. Here's a lute full of wine. Just like get to know each other
That's
a little bit.
dish.
Then everybody can wake up.
Yeah.
Because as it is, like, she gives her
No
mom
time.
a hug,
And then
but
boom.
then she just goes back to dancing with the prince, which I'm not saying isn't, like, how a 16-year-old would operate.
Well, and to Aurora's defense, I guess, like, she really knows the prince better than her mom at this point.
Yeah.
It's like,
God, how
Danced in the
sad.
woods for 2 minutes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Which in Disney fairy tale terms is like having a cute, long conversation.
Yeah.
I mean, they sang a song together, which I guess is really what is like Disney rules of like, I get to know you now. We know everything about each other. We're in love. La 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 la.
Yeah.
His singing voice is ridiculous. It's like, oh, like it just is so, the vibrato is off the charts.
Amazing.
Yeah. That song's pretty good. The rest of the songs aren't very good.
Just eat ass.
No, they're
Truly terrible.
terrible.
Just, like,
That's why I didn't
phoned
think
it
there was any
in.
music in
No,
it.
because it's just a bunch of
not.
like it's a incorporeal chorus of voices just explaining the plot to you.
Do you think that's like what like the beginning of the 60s were about though? Is like, let's not do a traditional song. Okay, we'll just have one song in the middle, but everything else will be kind of like improvised.
They're making it
I
over the
don't
booth.
know. They were terrible songs. They really felt
They
like
really
first
were.
draft songs.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was almost like they like, hey, we should do a song where like, oh, we should do a song when the fairies do their magic and give the blessings to the baby. And they're like, yeah, that'd be a great idea. And then they're like making the whole thing, and it's like, all right, Todd, did you get that song put together? Oh no.
Everybody go to sleep.
And then
Wealth to the prince. Health to the prince.
yeah, and then
And what rhymes with health? It's wealth.
Wealth.
Yep, that too.
Yeah,
And
and then-
bramble.
and then like the blessing music, he just like quick like grabbed the script in the studio and just like read the same lines the fairies had and put it to music. Oh man,
Yeah, not great.
Poor
Not
Todd.
great.
What is great music-wise, those fucking clarinets, the Maleficent theme, those clarinets or whatever they are,
What are you talking
and
about?
playing the
Oh.
minor key, the little like
I didn't notice
tune
that.
whenever Maleficent was on screen really did it for me.
All right.
Those little minor key clarinets.
I guess I
think.
didn't check that. I didn't clock that because I was too focused on her intensity
Yeah, she's great.
Yeah,
and her
me too.
green light magic
Yeah. Well,
and her very stern hypnotic command to touch the spindle.
that maybe she is the spindle. Did she turn into?
Is the spindle
I think
sex?
she was.
I thought she turned.
What?
What?
Oh, wait. Everybody
Is
stop.
it
Molly,
sex?
Say that again.
Is it sex?
Is
Is it sex? I mean, she gets a little prick.
she gets pricked?
Hey-oh.
There's blood.
Oh, Molly.
Is that what that's about?
I don't know.
Like on a
And she-
grim
and you-
level?
and you
Do
fall
think this is
asleep
like
afterwards.
This is like an
No.
this is like an STD analogy.
Maybe it's like tetanus. Maybe it's like not. It's not quite
No, I
so.
was thinking that she loses her innocence.
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, she lost her innocence if
Because
she
that
danced
is
with
like
that
a
owl.
very specific thing. It's not like it's not like when she turns 16 and she sees the sunrise. You know what I mean? She
Yeah.
could make it for anything. But I think this is a thinly veiled like a metaphor from the original. I don't think it's like Disney added.
Oh, so you're saying like in the original, it's just like, ooh, you will
On a grim level, I think
feel
we're supposed
very
to
hot
understand this.
and you'll touch the spindle.
I think the spindle means something more.
Okay. Okay.
I think the spindle is more like the, you know.
Speaking of
Great.
adding horniness where there doesn't need to be.
Horniness. We have one more
Thank
Discord
you.
question. Victoria asked, here's a question. FMK the Three Fairies,
Boom. Here we go.
which I believe we have our own
I'm
branded version
trying to
of this
remember.
game because we're gentle souls and Molly doesn't want to use the F word.
I think one of them was Netflix and chill.
I think it's Netflix and chill.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Throw out a win.
Yeah, instead of killing them, we like throw them out of the house or something.
And maybe
I
still,
think so.
maybe
I don't
Mary
remember.
stayed the same.
I don't
It's from
remember.
Wizard of Oz. We did it.
Tweet at us, Totes
Yeah.
Heads.
Yeah.
Mary is the same.
Yeah. Okay,
So
we
flora,
got-
fauna.
Well, in this case, we'll call it throw into the bramble.
throw it to the
Sure.
brambles.
Okay.
Great.
Are we still
So
Netflix and chilling, or are we
Netflix and chill.
making a cake?
I think
Or are we spinning the spinning wheel?
Oh, right. Are we touching the spindle?
because we're touching the spindle.
All right, so touch the spindle. Mary.
Throw in the brambles.
This is a tradition.
Mary. Betroth.
Throw the
For
bramble.
themes, we'll say betroth. How about?
Okay, great.
I'll go first. I know the answer.
Please. I know it's so confident.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm gonna throw Fauna into the brambles
Okay.
because I think she's like bossy and incompetent at the same time. She doesn't know what she's doing and pretends like she knows what she's doing. Get rid of her.
Yep.
I think I'm gonna marry Flora
Okay.
because she's so sweet and she's gonna be able to bake that cake eventually.
Yeah.
And then Merryweather, I think, touching the
Your
spindle
wife ears.
because I think she's such a hard worker, and
Uh-huh.
we're just really she's gonna make it happen. She's got some energy that I appreciate.
I love that answer. Thank you.
Wow.
My name is Dan. That's my Brambles Mary Spindle.
Nice. Fantastic.
See, at first I thought that I would want to touch the spindle with Merryweather
Okay.
because she has like a lot of heat and fire,
Yeah,
and that would be a lot of fun, right?
Right,
But I
right.
feel like I would like a longer term commitment to Merryweather.
Sure.
because, and I would like her in my life every day
Uh-huh.
because she seems like super cool. So I'm going to marry her. And yeah, I have to agree. I'm afraid Fauna's going to get thrown to the brambles just for being like super annoying. And I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Someone's gotta go.
And then obviously, I guess in that case, I have to touch the thimble with
Spindle.
touch the spindle with Flora, which
Okay.
actually makes me kind of uncomfortable.
Because
Why?
she's very
She just
parental.
seems very sweet and reserved and
Oh, I
very,
see.
very parental.
So
And I
you're
feel
worried
like
you
it
would,
would
like,
just be
Yeah.
very hard.
Corrupt.
I think maybe I
You'd
could.
corrupt her.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like I don't know, man. I don't. I mean, I don't want to talk about sexual attraction. So anyway, whatever.
They're tough
Who's
choices.
next?
But
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
tough
I mean-
choices.
I also agree with Fauna to the brambles.
Okay.
Rambles.
Bramble and Fauna.
Bramble and Fauna. And then based entirely upon the color of her dress, the green one is the sexy one.
Oh.
Oh, because of M&M's.
Yep. So I guess
God damn it.
touch the spindle with Flora.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then what's the
It's still
what's the
just
last
Mary.
one?
Mary
Mary.
Betroth.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
betroth.
Thank you, Beth.
You're welcome.
Themes.
Betroth. Meriwether.
Yes.
Also, she seems the coolest. I'd want to hang with her more.
Cool. My name is Dan. I go last because I had to think about this the hardest, I guess. I'm going across the board throwing Fauna to the brambles, and I'll tell you
Yeah.
why.
Wow.
Because my concern is that, like, if we were in a relationship, she breaks a dish, I'm in a fucking coma, right? Like,
Yeah.
she way over responds to correcting the issue, using her magic to just, like, fuck me over in some way.
Yeah.
Like, in some way, like, my grasp on reality is shattered forever, and I'm driven insane. So, to the brambles she goes. This is a tough one. I think Meriwether. I would touch the spindle with Meriwether because, that little wiggle she does when she's, full of feelings. I mean, that just tells you things are going to be pretty exciting. Which means, of course, I betroth Flora, which I'm okay with because I feel like Flora would, obviously she might have some issues where she's like desperate for approval, and you'd maybe have to work with her and like talk to her. It's like, hey, you don't have to try so hard, right? Like,
Yep.
Like, why don't we bake a cake together? And we'll start there,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And also, sorry I threw your sister into the brambles.
You got to do it. You
Yeah.
got to do it. It's the rules.
It's the rules.
Yeah.
Oh,
There
this
we
has
go.
been a challenging
There we go.
one. I feel like the
Wow.
Wizard of Oz one was way easier. That Tin Man,
Ooh, baby.
easy.
Well, thank you, Victoria, and everybody else. Those questions, of course, come from Discord, where
heard
you
of it.
can join us when you become a patron at patreon.com/totesregal.com.
Close enough.
That sounds expensive.
Molly,
$1 a month.
$1 a month will get you access to
That's-
this Discord.
Yep.
Well,
or
that's way cheaper
$40
than Disney
a month,
Plus.
and pick a fruit for Dan and I to competitively eat.
Yes, you still get the Discord, but also we eat a fruit. Competitively.
Any fruit. Any
We
fruit.
don't know what it means either, but
Yeah.
you can help us figure it out.
Yeah.
I can't believe we have like six available.
Six available.
6 available
Out of 6.
out of 6. Great. Our
Please.
ratings.
Please select it. I need more nutrients.
I got scurvy. Our rating scale, as we all remember, is hashtag Maleficent FOMO, which
course.
is a TikTok challenge in which you break into a party you were not invited to and absolutely overreact and ruin someone's life.
Which now we realize, like, in retrospect, could have also maybe just been called the Fauna Challenge, because, like, apparently just, like, way over-responding with things that occur, like,
Sure.
uncomfortable situations. It's just a thing with magic women
Wow.
in this
Wow,
universe.
Not all magic women.
That's true. That's true. You know what?
Can
Merriweather
hold it down.
can hold it down.
That's middle. Dan, you gave it 3. You were worried it was kind of a dud, and it's the same as Snow White, but it's a classic, so maybe
Yeah.
it's good.
It was similar to Snow White. It was... Ooh. I feel like this was I enjoyed watching it with you all situation where that probably added levels of enjoyment I would not have had with just the experiencing the movie on its own. It didn't have like the dynamic of the dwarves despite being the same movie otherwise.
Yep.
And it only had like brief... I feel like overall it was better than I thought it was going to be because Maleficent rules. The fairies were pretty entertaining. Love that owl. Thick horse. So I'm going to say 4 #Maleficent FOMOs.
Great.
So better invite me to your parties because 4 of you are going to regret it.
Beth, you gave it 3. I think you were looking forward to the animal friends being good.
Yeah. They were great animal friends. I especially enjoyed the squirrel. Just really good tail animation.
Bushy tails.
The horse was not as animated, like as a character, as I thought it was going to be. So we'll subtract a point for that. Just kidding. A full point for lame horse.
Honestly, Molly has subtracted points for less.
No, but as a movie, I thought it was okay. It's not my favorite of the Disney animated films. I think I'm going to give it 3.5.
Great.
So what would be a half?
Like a typo.
Oh, so you still fuck up somebody's party, but you type in the hashtag wrong?
Yeah.
Yeah, people, you can't go viral.
Just
'cause
Mo.
you're not-
Oh, right, because you're not
That's
on the
not my
algorithm. The algorithm doesn't trend because you used the wrong hashtag.
Hope you're not that party.
Yeah.
Because then you get nothing for it.
Nothing. You don't even get fame.
Nope. Which we all aspire to.
Yes. To be famous for your party being crashed.
All right. I gave it 3. I was worried it wouldn't be charming at all. It was better than I thought it would be. I enjoyed it, but it also is like fine. I don't know. I guess I'm going to go 3.5 as well. I enjoyed some parts. I was remembering as a kid, those little goblins dancing around the fire was really cool to me as a child. But yeah, it's like, it's good, but I don't get that excited about it. I'm going 3.5.
Wow.
So not throwing in the brambles, but not touching the spindle.
Yes.
Yeah.
Molly, you gave it 4. You were being bold, and you thought the animation would be beautiful.
Yes. Well, I was right. The the animation was, in fact, just extra gorgeous. And I think in part because it had that style that was emerging in the late 50s, early 60s that I still just really love. To clean up a little bit from the beginning, I forgot to mention that it is Cinderella's castle in Orlando and that we see in the logo for Disney. But it is Sleeping Beauty's castle out at Disneyland in California. So there's a helpful piece of information.
Where did you learn that fact?
Probably.
I just found it.
Oh, yeah?
I went to trees.com and did a search. And
Trees.com. Oh, the one that you plant a tree?
Ecosia?
yeah, I went to I just used the internet, y'all. I don't remember what site it was. It was a no-name site.
Oh, noname.com?
Yeah, it was old noname.com.
All right.
I'm sorry. I know we don't have a theme song for noname.com, so I was reluctant to bring it up.
Sure.
Oh,
No, it's
actually, no, I do have one.
Oh,
right
really?
Here.
Oh, you
I'll
do?
just press play and it.
Molly doesn't know the website.
Wow, I see the Prince had a role in that one. That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
lots
that
of
was
vibrato.
very expensive.
That makes a lot of sense though, that the Disneyland castle is the beeping Slooty one, because it's not really a ride, it's just something you kind of go through. So
It's not even a full castle.
Yeah, but
It's like a
Well, the
storybook
one
thing.
It's like a storybook, but like the one in Orlando isn't a ride either.
yeah, but I'm saying like it's a thing where you're talking about how we got to go through there to get to the next thing. As like
Yeah.
a dad at the park, there's a lot of like we got to go through Beeping Slooty to get to Tomorrowland or whatever.
Oh,
You know,
That's why you heard
that's
it
why-
so much.
Yeah,
because it was in your backyard.
Got you.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Just
get
take
it
the
now.
train down the coast,
Must be nice. Probably grabbed an orange outside the window along the tracks.
pop them off.
Yep.
Took a surfboard
I was
there.
Surf train.
delighted
Surf train.
by this movie.
Yes.
I'm the many strong women characters. I even felt like Sleeping Beauty herself had a little more edge to her than Snow White did, and I enjoyed it. So I give it 4 #Maleficent FOMOs.
Excellent.
Wow.
Sorry, I made a face because I realized I think I interrupted a bit to get to my rating, and my
I
rating
think we
was
interrupted
so
your
boring.
rating to interrupt for the bit.
Well, I think the bit was probably more interesting than my rating because my rating actually didn't change.
Oh,
Yeah, it
You were
started
bold and
out
it
4 and
paid
it
off.
ended 4.
yeah, exactly.
Well,
Fortune
that's true. And
favors
I
the bold.
do remember watching this movie as a kid, and that was pretty cool to realize that I had seen it.
I mean, that's
And
huge.
probably just once and very young, because I didn't have like access to a whole lot of memories, but the ones that hit, I was like, oh yeah, I've definitely seen this.
Yeah, I still am not confident that I watched this one. I must. I don't know. I probably saw
yeah.
it though, right?
I like almost all the scenes to me were recognizable, but I cannot tell you when I saw that movie. I have no idea. I can't think of like what scenario I would have seen it.
Well,
It's
and it was
very
only
weird.
released for certain times, right? Didn't all this stuff go in the vault?
Yeah,
Vaults
it's
were
like
this really big
Yeah,
deal.
but then they hooked it up to the internet a couple years ago, and
Yeah.
now we've
Here
got
comes the fire hose.
all
It's
access
like-
Get
to the
that
vault.
content.
one of the things that I wonder about is that at the beginning of Disney VHS tapes,
Uh-huh.
usually there's like clips about other
Oh.
movies. And I'm like, have I just seen so
The
many clips from
advertisement?
Sleeping Beauty that I know the story and how it's put together?
Amazing.
Like that, that scene where she like touches the spinning wheel, like
the spindle.
the spindle. Like that's a DVDs.
That's
Oh,
the DVDs.
Yeah.
except a VHS
VHSs.
for this
Yeah,
particular
and
company.
the
yeah.
cake, and
Huh.
yeah, there's a lot of, I don't know. I must have seen it. I knew it too well to not have seen it before.
that
Yep.
cake was stellar. That was some of the best physical comedy I've ever seen in a cake.
Little
It was
candle
real good.
sliding down the broom.
The candle
Yeah,
sliding
that
down the
sounds so
broom
good.
was real good. Ooh, I did really enjoy the line, "Who forgot to turn off the mop?"
Yes.
And then mop stop. Got a rhyme. But
Apparently it does have to
Mary gets
rhyme.
it. Did we forget to rate men? Even
Oh,
though we promised the
shit.
website
Did we?
weiratemen.com.
I think we kind of did. We talked about how his
Okay.
singing voice is ridiculous, but I don't think we
Okay.
ranked him in relation to other Disney princes.
Oh yeah.
Again, above our most hated prince, Prince Eric of
Eric.
The Little Mermaid.
The dud of all duds.
The ultimate dud. I'm
Ooh,
trying.
I got my little flute. I'm so sad. Ooh.
I love how you never talk to me.
I'm so rich. Look at my shirt. I don't know. See, that's all I have. Dud.
I'm struggling to remember other princes now at this point.
Prince.
Well, we've got we have Aladdin.
Yep.
Ooh, top tier.
Oh my
Right.
God,
Lee,
that vest.
Fabulous
Come on.
He.
We've got
Prince Charm. No. Is
Not
Prince
Prince
Charming Snow White?
I think that's
Cinderella.
Yeah, we've got Dove Prince from Snow White.
Prince. Oof, he's also kind of a dove.
He's fine. I don't know. Maybe on par
He's
with
way
Philip.
better than Eric.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Philip is better.
We're trying to place
I think,
Philip.
yeah,
though.
Philip is charming and kind of funny.
Yeah, he's got
And
some
he,
stuff
like-
going on.
The relationship
Yeah.
with his thick horse is pretty good. Like as little animation as the horse had, there was a good moment where he like went back to the cottage to touch that spindle, I assume.
Yeah.
And he like looks back at the horse and gives a little like victory thing, and the horse is like, "Hey, brother, that was fun."
16.
Oof.
Ay.
Yeah,
It was
he's
the
like
14th
what,
century.
20? Yeah, whatever.
And even the shot of him when he's like probably 4 or something, and he's
Yeah.
meeting the princess for the first time, and he
he's
kind
like,
of makes a face.
"Ugh, stinky, I assume.
Yeah, it's
That's
a
like their
weird
whole
squiggly-
relationship. Their whole relationship is him looking over her while she's lying down and she stinks.
Sleeping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I maybe am making some presumptions, but
I like his hat and his
Yeah.
cape.
good hat, good cape.
Yeah.
So he's
good.
definitely above Eric.
He's
I
got
think
a
he's
really good sense of humor about woodland creatures stealing his clothes and
That's
impersonating
true.
him.
Yeah, it could be a real.
like he could have been a real monster about that and been like,
Mhm.
"Ooh,
Could've been
I'm
rude.
sending my entire kingdom to burn this forest down."
Yeah.
And look
So-
at his dad. Like, he doesn't even have a good role model.
That's
Oh,
true.
no.
His father
That's
is
true. Given
terrible.
what he has to work with.
Mm-hmm.
So he's 2 out of
Mid
the
tier.
ones that we've.
I'm going to say mid.
The ones that we've seen, I would put him 2nd or 3rd.
What did we
Second.
feel about Frozen Men?
Oh, Frozen Man.
I like him.
Is he
Wait,
a
but
prince?
he-
Are we only?
No,
Are we rating
'cause
men
there's
or
like-
princes?
Ooh, because there's like evil prince in that one, and then
'Cause
there's
Prince
what's
is
his name?
evil.
Because if we're just rating like men in movies, Robin Hood #1.
Oh, sure.
Oh, yeah.
The Fox
Just
version,
Hubba Hubba.
Yes.
1000. It's followed by the Tin Man.
Yeah. Okay. So we touched the spindle with the following: Robin Hood the Fox, the Tin Man, Merryweather. I don't know. Some other ones. Aladdin, maybe. Maybe.
Maybe.
Well,
I'm going to say
that's fair.
mid-tier.
Yeah. Philip's doing okay. I'm not mad about him, but,
Yeah.
I'm not staying up at night thinking about him either.
He's not interrupting my songs. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I'm not throwing him into the bramble. Not
Yeah.
yet,
Yeah.
anyway.
No, I'm not throwing the Bramble, no.
But like he could be better.
True.
Yeah.
I
There it
mean,
is.
like,
Oh, this
There
is
it
his
is.
first fight. Like, we've actually don't know anything about his. And also, you know what? I was also like, these fairy ladies can make a sword and a shield for virtue and truth, but what they make for their daughter of 16 years is a dress? Come on.
Well, they're
patriarchy, man.
I mean, to be fair to them, they're initially trying to make something without magic.
That's true.
That's the initial thought. And
That's
then-
fair.
Then they go,
It looks
Oh,
so much
too
easier to make
excited.
stuff with magic.
Speaking of magic,
Yes.
we have to quickly touch on the fact that Beth and I are right, and that at the end, when Aurora and Prince Philip are dancing, and the fairies are still arguing over whether her dress should be pink or blue, they're zapping her with magic, and then they're both killed by errant magic wand zaps because they are dancing in the clouds at the end.
wow.
They
You mean the
are
prince
now
and princess?
dead.
Yes, they are dead.
Wow.
It ends with them dancing in heaven because Merryweather and Fauna killed them with their reckless magic.
I
Do
mean,
you think
it
as
only
they
makes
approach
sense.
the clouds that they are run over by the characters from Greece who have just flown off into the clouds?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Maleficent wins. The royalty is destabilized without heirs. The peasantry and the drunk serfs can rise up.
Yeah, maybe.
The ludist is the new ruler of the
Oh,
working class.
absolutely. I love it.
Ah,
It's
Okay.
Storybook ending.
you know what? 5.
Yay, we did it.
Yay.
Totes Recall is hosted by Molly Chase, Beth Gibbs, Dan Jaquette, and Dan Linden. Produced by Beth Gibbs. New episodes of Totes Recall drop on the 15th of every month. For more information and bonus content, visit us at totesrecall.com. Thank you so much for listening.